I think 2024 will be a year for a chapter of a book at some point in Hania's career. There's a lot of similarities between Gohar and Hania. They'd probably hate to both admit that. It was really about trying to get her life in order.
How proud are you of that achievement, not just for her, but also for yourself in coaching role?
I think I'm most proud for her because I know how much of a dream it's been. I know how hard she's worked, how much that ranking has been on her mind since such a young age. And it's such hard, big boots to fill when people are putting that label on you years ago. But there's been a lot of world junior champions who've never gone on to get to the very top. I think the pressure came from the transition out of juniors to seniors so quickly, and beating those top 10, top 5 in the world players so quickly out of juniors was then, well, it's just a natural progression that in a year or two I'll then manage to get myself to world #1. It's just something that is going to happen. Even talking to her about the back-to-back platinum events that she won in Egypt and Qatar, where she'd never won back-to-back platinum events before. And she was like, it is the least amount I've ever thought about winning back-to-back events, and it happened. And I'm like, well, please, can you just learn from that going forward? Because the more you try, the less it tends to happen. She was obviously nervous going into that final, for more than just the final, for knowing it was a step closer to world #1, for knowing that, she wanted to win a US Open title, which she never had done before. I think 2024 will be a year for a chapter of a book at some point in Hania's career. It's certainly not my place to kind of say what was going on in her mind. I was just trying to put out fires and pick up pieces and be there. And I, genuinely believe that being a female in that situation really helped. It was really about trying to get her life in order, and she took a while to navigate and come through that phase that she was in at that time. And I genuinely believe that the low points that we all go through are what make the highs so worth it.
It's the first ever diamond status win for her, and she's done it immaculately. Best player in the tournament.
The US Open and Singapore last year were probably two of the lowest, I would say, the lowest events that we had to deal with.
She's won it. Amina Orfi has won her biggest PSA squash tour title.
But that's what makes the reward so great, just because you can't have winning without losing. It's actually made her the player and have the mental strength that she's got now. I think she said in the Joey interview at Egypt that Coldplay massively helped her. She absolutely loved that concert, and I think it made her open her eyes and just kind of see the good side of life a little bit. A lot of it's tied into expectation, and she went into TOC with, of course, expectation of, I've still made every semi of the season, but there was no real expectation for her to go on and beat Shabini and Gohar, both of them in one event. And I think the shackles were off and she was able to play freely. We've had some chats, already started that process of, how are you going to be as a world #1? Everyone has their own way of handling world #1. As the great Billie Jean King said, pressure is a privilege. And if you can look at it that way, then I think she'll rise to the challenge. And she's definitely got that ruthlessness and determination to be a good world #1, I think. I had this image of going to world #1, being down, here where we are today, David Lloyd, my training base, and being like, new rankings are out, world #1, who knew? And then Nathan goes and tells me after I win my quarterfinal in Hong Kong, oh, if you win tomorrow against Raneem, who was world #1 at the time, you'll go to world #1. And I had no idea. I was like, I'm going to step on this court and you're going to have to drag me off before I lose this match, because it might be the only ever chance I get to be world #1.
Yeah, great shot, well finished. Clinical stuff from Massaro. Just didn't work for El Walili today, and that's what it means in the English corner.
She was in a similar situation in knowing how many points were on offer for that US Open, but are slightly different because she had to play Amina, who was ranked below. So it was trying to get her into that state of, you haven't got any pressure, you've got an opportunity here. And a true world #1 would go out and grab that opportunity. So you go from wanting to gain something your whole career, and then now you've sort of got maybe the things that you dreamed about, that you have then got to make that mental shift of trying to keep it. How long can you keep it for? Can you rack up the titles? And I think that would be the next sort of goal setting phase that I know I didn't handle being world #1 that well, if in all honesty. Just managing those emotions. And my personality is very different to Hania's. My personality is one of, do as you're told in terms of get your training, do your technical. I'm on a mission and I'll go for it. But there's a lot more kind of red involved with Hania in terms of like, there's anger, there's frustration, there's, you know, determination. You know, there's a lot of similarities between Gohar and Hania, which is why we get the best sort of matchups. So they'd probably hate to both admit that, but I think they're more similar to each other than me and Hania. And I've been able to help Hania with a little bit more of that. Let's not get too high, let's not get too low. Like, the job is like, do as you should. You know, do as your coaches are telling you, do what Darwish is telling you, be professional. One of my biggest goals, I've said it a few times for this season, was to not have a blood injury. That for me shows that she's more balanced, it shows that she's moving more efficiently, and it also is creating hopefully a longevity to her career, because the knee injury that took her out of World Tour finals was created from diving and the British Open was diving in the World Champs. The team that she's got in Egypt with Kareem leading over there, she's obviously been a brilliant part of discussing that with him. And her hitter and Kareem are doing brilliant work. Yusuf, they're just working on all of that stuff, and then they're layering on all of their side. So the hold that you see in, the variations that she's seeing, I think has been able to happen because she's technically better, but they're the ones on court with her every single day, practicing, getting those variations, getting her, you know, really confident up and down both walls. And that's the hard work that's done daily that I'm not part of. So that's brilliant. So I think there'll be a continuation of even better movement, as scary as that might be, keeping her injury free. I think her short game can still improve a little bit. And constantly getting her so that she's getting more accurate, you know, with every single shot, whether it be the driving game, the short game, showing better variation, all of those things that come as she gets a bit more confident.